Growers know there's importance in their data. They know they need it. They're just not 100% sure how to get that information pulled back out of what they've already gathered. And so I really feel that's one of the areas that will expand rapidly over the next couple of years.
Welcome to Ag Smarter Sessions, where we sit down with thought leaders, forward movers, and problem solvers to explore real-world challenges, intelligent solutions, and what's next for the future of food and agriculture. Today, we're sitting down with Erich Eller, president of Forefront Ag Solutions, an independent crop consulting company out of Huntington, Indiana. Forefront Ag Solutions is a leader in adopting technology, data, and AI to advance the yield and ROI goals of their customers. I'm so excited to chat with you about your work and approach, Erich. Thank you so much for joining us today on Ag Smarter Sessions.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you for having us. We appreciate that.
Tell me about your personal background. What led you to agriculture and, ultimately consulting?
So from a young age, I grew up around my uncle's farm. It was a small farm here in Northeast Indiana. We did everything from crops to raising hogs. And one of the things that he always encouraged us to do is to explore and to research. And one of the things, and when I'm talking 40 years ago. He really encouraged me to start looking into like computer programming. And at the time that wasn't even a thing, but it was working with some computers and understanding what that was. He had the vision of knowing that computers were going to play a big part moving forward.
Very insightful.
Had the opportunity to work for a pretty progressive small independent co-op that really had the insights to what now is precision agriculture, but at the time really was in the beginnings of precision agriculture and have spent a lot of my life working around that.
Let's talk a little bit about the challenges maybe some of your customers are facing right now. What's going on, especially in row crops? What are you seeing your customers coming to you with questions about?
So a lot of them are to understand how they can produce a crop profitably in today's marketplaces. They come to us with concerns about data management, nutrient management, herbicide issues, carbon programs, or just programs in general, and then acre by acre profit.
Do you have any examples of how technology is really helping them make those sort of risk management decisions on the farm?
We're able to compile multiple years of data detailing out what are some of the profit potentials. And so by using programs that help us do some farm planning with profits and expenses, we can really start to dial in our per acre cost, per bushel cost, and understand how we can affect those dramatically just with some decisions we make on a daily basis.
I'm going to guess there's some growers who might be reluctant to buy into new technology. Probably some of it's a little cost prohibitive, maybe on the front end with all the other input costs that they have. How do you sort of talk them through the ROI there and why it is a good decision to invest in technology?
So a lot of our customers, we have, 10 to 11 years worth of data on each field that allows them to understand how the fields change from year to year with different weather patterns, different crops, and stuff like that. So as we start to look at some ROI, we start to really build some profit zones. Not only how we apply things, but when we apply things. It takes multiple years to really start understanding this type of information. But the guys that have jumped on board the last 5+ years are now really reaping the benefits of that. This is a patience game, and it takes a few years before some of that payout can really be seen. And so, yes, I know in challenging times, it's really difficult to be patient. But what I keep telling guys is Rome was not built in a day.
So, as we look toward the future and what you're seeing, what kind of technology are you excited about or that's really getting you going and you're really looking forward to bringing to some of your customers?
One of the programs that we actually started a few years ago, it's called Trailblazing. So we really do a combination of using drones to fly NDVI. We overlay that with our profitability maps. We understand we're using a leaf tech scanner to get instant tissue samples. And what are the profitabilities of each of our decisions that we're making throughout the year? One of the things that we're really doing is understanding and building that database to really have some decision engines driving in the background of what we're doing that says, hey, this part of the field, we need to apply this. And the profitability should be this if we do this.
And it sounds like the precision has gotten even more precise over the years as well. And you talked about drones a little bit. Tell me a little bit more about, what are the things you can do with drone technology? Obviously, you can take very good imagery. What else? What else they got going on there?
So since day one, I mean, we've played with multiple drones in our business, and so we are still doing imagery with our drones, from stand count to plant health to tassel counts. We are driving what we are doing in when we're actually physically in the field. We're using that imagery as a background on our iPhone, iPad to drive our scouts where they need to go into the field. Secondly, we are investing in spray drone technology. Now that we have that map and we have the tissue sample, we can now drive our spray drones to only apply products to the portion of the field that will drive the profitability of that acre.
As I recall, there were a lot of growers who would make their purchases early on preseason, right?
Mhm.
What kind of herbicides are they going to need to put down? Fungicide might be a decision they make, as the season goes on. How are you creating flexibility for your customers in terms of those inputs that they need to get, kind of mid-season or later, that sort of adds on to what maybe they already planned for in the
Right.
beginning?
I would say our farm planning has changed quite a bit over the last couple of years. I mean, there's going to be some things that we know we're going to do. We know we're going to put down a herbicide with some residual. We know we're going to, do some starter fertilizer or some sort of fertilizer through the year. On corn, we know we're going to put down some nitrogen. So there's some purchases we know we can make. But then, yeah, as we start looking at some foliars, as we start looking at some fungicides, we are delaying those decisions until in crop to go, okay, this is what the crop says it's needing, not what we think we back in December thought it needed. And so, yes, we are delaying some of those decisions until that just in time in season pass. And again, we might think our crop needs X, Y, and Z when it really needs A, B, C. And so
Right.
we're really trying to put what the crop needs to help it go past our yield ceiling and our profitability ceiling.
How do you see what you do specifically in helping with that data and information, help with sustainability and make sure that there are farms for the future generation to grow? What's your role there, do you
Right.
see?
We do help them collect and organize all their information that they're working with. We are also have another division, our professional services, where we're working with, carbon programs, FSA programs, CSP programs, soil and water conservation, and understanding, hey, here's all the programs that are out here for sustainability and future growth and stuff like that. Well, how do our customers fit into that? And so we're sitting here in the middle, really trying to marry them up, going, hey, we have a customer doing this, this, and this. He could be getting paid on these acres this way. And so really understanding, hey, what are some of these programs and carbon programs looking for? And now I have the data for this grower that says, hey, you qualify for this, really helping them understand what they can qualify for. Or, hey, maybe if you just do this one little tweak, now you qualify for this. And so that's been something we've been exploring and working on for the last couple of years, but I really see that blossoming up in the future.
Eric, I'm going to guess that you have a lot of long-term customers who really appreciate sort of the full service that you offer. That's really great. So, a question that we ask everybody, because we are on Ag Smarter sessions: what does Ag Smarter mean to you?
We have so much knowledge on crop production, on sustainability, on carbon programs, environmental issues. How can we take all of that, shake it up, and bring wisdom to it? So, how do we farm by the foot? And that's what Ag Smarter means to me.